can't hide. Gonna find you and take it slowly.
The big fights just keep coming. This is our co-main event, the BAMMA Interim Flyweight Title, and this young man, Dominique Wooding, the prospect, the man they're saying is the hottest prospect in the division at the moment, oozing confidence, 3-0, devastating finishes, Chris.
Two men who both believe the belt is theirs clash tonight in Belfast in a test of wills and skills. The first challenger for the interim flyweight title, Dominique Wooding from London, an absolutely stunning specimen of a mixed martial artist. Malcolm the Panther has stalked his way to Belfast tonight.
And he's mature beyond his years, Chris. I mean, just 20 years of age, but so many people talking about him. It's the clinical nature of his finishes. Everybody is saying this man is the future. He believes he's not the future. He believes he deserves to be here right now.
Incredible movement on the feet, an awareness that is almost a sixth sense. No one wants to fight this kid. And he is, to me, a scary mix of agility, speed, precision, and of course, power.
Yes, Dominique Wooding, you can see he's so relaxed, so calm. What a specimen, a natural-born finisher.
I love the thing that, in my opinion, Dominic has relied on is his sense of timing and capitalizing on his opponent's mistakes. He always seems to be a step ahead, and with a reach advantage and an ability to make 125 pounds, unlike anybody I've ever seen with his frame, I think the world is going to get an incredible view into the future of what a young mixed martial artist like Dominic Wooding is capable of.
And let's be blunt, it was him that called out Young. He said, I can't get flyweight opposition, nobody will fight me back in London. Come on, I'll take on Andy Young.
The hand trapping, the punches while moving backwards, he's always very relaxed, efficient, and in control. And I think his execution shows you that he just, in his own mind, knows exactly what's going on, and his ability to read his opponents. Open stance fighting down to its essentials.
Yes, this young man, the ultimate finisher. As we said before, mature beyond his years, and he has come here to take this title, not just make up the numbers.
Dominic Wooding, who has pointed out tonight it's only going one way. The belt is mine, and it's been mine for a long time, has arrived in Belfast. And folks, it's title time again at BAMMA 28.
And listen to the crowd, because facing him is Taz, Andy Young. He's made a simple statement. There is no way in front of this crowd I am losing here tonight. It is simply not going to happen.
Taz returns to dazzle the crowd here in Northern Ireland tonight. My Fight of the Year candidate in 2016, Andy, unsuccessful in Dublin last year. But what he showed off in convincing fashion was his boxing, his heart, his determination, his ability to keep the pace on. Malcolm, this guy is a challenger if I've ever seen one.
Both men are primed and ready for battle here in Belfast. It's live title action next.
commercial break. This co-main event is coming up in just 1 minute's time. SSE Arena, Belfast. I want you all to make some noise as we go live across the world in just under 1 minute's time. 1 minute's time, ladies and gentlemen.
Here we go, the big title fight. Young, as you can see, 7 years older, vastly more experience. Wooding, notably taller of the two. The Black Panther is in stalking mode, but will he find he's grabbed a Taz Tiger by the tail? Plenty of questions here to answer in Belfast tonight. Buddy Johnson is going to get us underway for this big, big interim title.
Belfast, SSE Arena. We are ready for the co-main event of the evening. We are scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds in the professional flyweight division. This for BAMMA's interim flyweight champion. Introducing first, your first challenger fighting out of the blue corner. Standing 5 feet 9 inches tall and weighing officially at 124.2 pounds. A flawless record of 3 wins with no defeats from London, England by way of Angola, Dominique, the Black Panther, Wooding! And his opponent, your second challenger in the red corner, standing 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighing officially at 125 pounds. He has a record of 10 wins with 8 defeats. From Belfast, Northern Ireland, Andy Taz Young. When the action begins, your referee in charge, Mr. Daniel Morvahetti.
All right, gents, you're both clear on the rules and you know what's expected of you. Listen to my instructions at all times. Any questions from you? Any questions from you? Touch gloves, you want to touch gloves? Have fun.
Oh, Chris, you could see from that stare down, both men so ready for this, and the crowd letting you know exactly who they are rooting for. A huge response to Taz.
The bright lights of BAMMA shine once again here on the Emerald Island, and tonight we take over Belfast. A showcase of talent at 125 pounds, the belt on the line. Wooding versus Young.
Well, he's 20 years of age, but if you're good enough, you're old enough. And he says, you haven't seen a flyweight like me, my movement, the way I strike. By contrast, Andy Young says, I will just have too much experience from him. I've been on the big shows, I've been there, done it, bought the t-shirt.
The quick reaction of Wooding right now off that front leg side kick, the leg dexterity alone, as well as his ability to dominate in the pocket, is one thing to watch out for, but Andy is a wily competitor. Excellent boxing. Beautiful inside slip there from Andy Young.
Well, he said clearly before the fight, I'm going to stop him in 2. I've got the experience, I've got the power, I've got the stand-up. Who's he fought? This is the big question that Andy Young has said. And do you know what? This is a really good indicator if he's right or not for Dominique Wooding. He stepped up, he's called his man out. Now if he proves it, he knows Andy is a scalp and his mark for the big time.
Andy is a very technical kickboxer. Great hands, underrated leg kicks, and a legit brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So he's got game in all departments.
Look at the loose nature, though, of Dominique Wooding, staying in the pocket, just moving his head from that round kick, taking that short kick to the thigh, the oblique shot there as well. And we know that he can explode into action with a clinical finish at any moment.
One thing it seems that Young is prepared for is to try to read the rhythm of Wooding and then begin to break it and interrupt it. And I like that right now.
huge responsibility on this man. You heard the whole crowd here at the SSE is behind him. The weight of that responsibility is on his shoulders. That's why he was so adamant. It's only going one way tonight.
Young certainly receiving the most vocal reception of any fighter here tonight, and that's saying something, Malcolm.
Well, you saw there, he sprang into action, and immediately Wooding responded. Two fast men in that cage for this interim title.
Nice leg kick again, delivered by Young. Wooding, though, gauging the distance. Long left hand from Wooding.
Yes, and remember, Young said, I want Sade again, I want Rani. It was a close fight, and Wooding said, I know he's looking beyond me. That's going to be his problem.
I like the snap kick there from Wooding and the reply from Young. He knew that Wooding was extended on that kick and countered beautifully. Right now, Wooding probing with the jab. Look for him to lunge in when he senses the time is right. He's fighting on the outside right now, avoiding any major connection from Taz, except for those leg kicks.
Oh, this is so delicately poised at the moment, Chris. You can see the balance of both men, the timing, the focus. They know that this could hinge on one punch, one kick, one vital moment, and that title suddenly becomes there for the taking.
A lot of resets from both men. They're in, and then they seem to venture just outside of reach to resettle and almost reassess the situation. And that is one of the most incredible and awe-inspiring things about stand-up fighting. And when you mix it into MMA, it becomes very interesting.
And this is the first time that Young looks to close the gap, clinch up. You could see him looking to make space for the knee there, Wooding aware of it. And for the first time, they clinch, they're against the fence, and it slows down.
Wooding would like to try to spin away from here, but Andy, right now with that body lock, has great control, and he will not rush this. He can afford to use knees, which will obviously take away from the base of Wooding, slow him down, decrease power, and maybe open up the takedown.
Well, that's one of the things we mentioned. We've been talking a lot about the explosive nature of both men. Yet if you look at them both, everything they've done has been calculated, has been clever, it's been careful. I think both men know, despite Young saying, I've just dismissed him, you can tell he hasn't.
Double unders, slowly riding higher for Young. Look at that. You notice the way his grip has stayed connected, but slowly coming up. That's allowed him better control. Daniel Movahidi has to separate him, though.
And look at the movement from both men again. The head slips, the leg movement, the awareness, superb stuff. As I said, neither man has landed really cleanly, but that's testament to the good defense we're also seeing, and the awareness and the positioning, Chris.
And the crowd loving every minute of it here at the SSE Arena. Feels like a football stadium in here right now, Malcolm. What an atmosphere.
There's the movement of Wooding, and then the left leg and the left hand both landed. Warnings to Taz that this young man is so dangerous, so loose-limbed. Having said that, he gets clipped.
Just a couple big shots landing, and then Taz responds. Things heating up. That's the end of the round.
Wow, Chris, these two men, whatever the trash talk that's been on before, and it hasn't really been trash talk, it's been saying they're ultra confident. Mutual respect was in that first round, the movement and everything. If you watch these two men, the timing, the movement, I think they both know one mistake and it could be over.
The moment Wooding lines up his left shoulder in between the two of Young, that left is on target and on trajectory. But here, a great blitz from Andy Young. I'm telling you, this guy is such a polished martial artist. He knows exactly when to counter. He knew that Wooding was going to try to reset on the retreat. He really turned it on. Well done for Andy Young to close out the round there.
That's right, the last shot was that left hand from Andy Young closing up. And as I said, the mutual respect shown by both men, I think that's going to change as this bout goes on. Wooding, he has that loose style, he drops the hands. It's almost like he's luring Young on. Young, by contrast, stays so focused. He's having none of it. This is so delicately poised, Chris.
Two savvy fighters. The interim belt on the line. Round two happening now at BAMMA 28 here at the SSE Arena in Belfast, Northern Ireland.
And let's be honest, Chris, when you look at Dominique Wooding's short but explosive career, round two is his lucky round.
Dominic, often part of the game plan is to try to read things and learn in the ring. He's got such a fighter IQ for a guy with just 3 fights. Again, front leg techniques to the legs. Showing the switch, pulls it at the last minute.
Yes, he's walking Andy Young down, making him think the whole time. But like you said earlier, I like the way when he commits, Young speeds in like that.
Time come here for Wooding. Big knees. Young fishes in, able to open things up.
Young responds with his own attacks. They're bubbling away now in the second round. They've started to open up. They've started to ask more questions now, Chris.
And they're talking to each other there. Dominic was talking smack. Andy says, let's go. What a frenetic pace set here from Andy Taz Young and Dominic Wooding.
Oh, it's bragging rights now, Chris. This is heating up beautifully here in the second. As you rightly said, they've had a good look at each other in the first, and they've reset, and they've just amped up the pace, both of them.
One of the things that Andy has done very well is he's used a guard to avoid the pot shots from Wooding that set up the power. See the way that Wooding kind of paused on that? Those are throwaway strikes to a degree. They're trying to get a reaction from Taz. Taz, though, with a huge right hand, clips Wooding. A nod from Wooding.
Oh, he's so slick when he comes in, Taz. As I said, the key here is nothing that Wooding's doing is stopping his focus, changing his mind. He sits in the pocket there, he waits, misses the showboating, and then shows the punches. Superb.
Kick comes in from the Black Panther. Alternating strikes from Taz Young. Fighting for the clinch. Both fighters lock up.
I think this is a definite tactic from Taz to say, look, let's see what you really have got. Let's put the pressure on. Let's see how you react. He knows that Taz is normally the one that's putting the pressure on, so saying, this is what I can do to you.
And it's intelligent pressure. It's timed. He was patient, and moreover, he was calculated. It's one thing to have strategy, but it's another to implement it at the correct time, and that is exactly what he's done. Nice little throw attempt there from the Black Panther. But he chose to actually retreat there, and I think that shows you exactly what he wants to do.
That's right. I mean, as we've seen with Dominic Wooding, his shot choice, his timing of execution as well. You've got to be so careful, and Taz has done that. Andy Young's focus has been incredible here in this second round.
These two guys have got skills everywhere, and for me, I know a real treat for the fans right now. You can see it with all their minute movements and adjustments. That is a sign of two men at the peak of their game.
Oh, yes. And as I said, still plenty here to go for because we've still got 2 minutes and there hasn't been that really clean, defining shot that asks a real question of either man. They're both capable of it. Andy Young's come closest, but again, that lateral movement, that sideways stepping, that getting off the center line from Wooding serves him so well.
The different approach to feinting here that you're witnessing is also important to take note of. Sometimes Dominic will fake punches and actually throw things, but sometimes just entire movements to telegraph something that's actually not coming. Taz also has a unique approach there, so I like the way they match up. This is everything you'd want for a title matchup here in BAMMA.
You just get the feeling, Chris, that 1 second, one move, either a jumping knee or a hook, can turn this on its head with these two men.
The suspense in the air and everything on the line here tonight in Belfast at the biggest show in Europe. The crowd's certainly sensing it now.
I think they know we're on the cusp of something here for both men because forget what Andy Young said earlier about having the title fight and everything. He is totally focused on Dominic Wooding. He's shown the respect. He's shown the total professionalism. He is just focusing on the man in front of him.
I like the lead left hook. Dom keeps his hands low at times, but he moves his head. Big blitz here from Young. Young into the clinch. The crowd roars.
Well, of course they do, because when he commits, he really commits, and it's fast hands and they clinch up. And what I like is knowing the way that Dominique can strike from different angles. When Taz commits, he ties him up straight afterwards as well.
Very ambitious from Andy. Very smart. You can clearly tell they prepared extensively for this matchup.
That's what I said to you, Chris. He may have said all this about, oh, he hasn't got the experience, who's he fought? But you can tell his preparation says, I know what this young man's got.
Dom, though, is continuing to try and mesmerize with the constant swap of stances, the lateral movement. And Taz then, again, every time he backs up Wooding against the wire, Wooding runs out of space and in some ways runs out of some of the options he usually uses.
I agree, Chris, and for me, across that round, very close again, but when you look at everything else being equal, you've got to look at the way Andy Young has pushed the pace there, and it's these blitzes that we see coming in now. What he does well as well, once he's finished his blitz, he's happy to tie up. with Dominique Wooding, and I feel he just gets the better of these exchanges at key moments like here now.
And
it's very close.
Wooding has made mincemeat out of many a man with that plum. I like the way that Taz defended, pummeled inside. Look at that flying scissor technique to the body. I mean, Wooding is so athletic. But Wooding, although doing many of the correct things, has certainly found a tough test against Andy Taz Young. I'm loving every minute of this title fight now.
Chris, I wouldn't have believed we'd be going into the third round with the pedigree of these two men. It shows the mutual respect, it shows the real ability. And now, win or lose, Wooding has set out a stall that says, I deserve to be in this company. I think the third round, neither man will be totally confident of having the first two rounds. So I think the third round, they could be saving the best till last here. I really think we could be in for a treat now.
Third and final round here on the biggest show in Europe, live from Belfast. It will be the last round to see who will take the title home tonight. Andy Taz Young, Dominic, the Black Panther Wooding.
And the exchange, you hear the crowd respond to that, as I thought. Andy Young has upped the pace again in this third. Neither man can be confident that they've got that cleanly with the judges. And Young comes in fast and hard, forcing Wooding to respond.
You have to remember, this is where Young really came alive in his last performance. I know this guy's got the gas for 3 hard rounds. Dominic usually doesn't see the third.
No, he's got the gas, he's got the desire, he's got the impetus, he's got the motivation with this crowd behind him. And as you said, this is virgin territory for Dominique Wooding. He's normally out of there by now.
One of Dominic's tactics in many ways is to time his opponent's boxing coming forward. It's the art of almost luring them into his zone.
Big foot stamps there by Andy Young. Every little measure being done now.
And Andy has taken that option away by pushing him up against the edge of space here now.
Yes, tying up a very dangerous man. It's been such a focused performance from Andy Young here tonight.
But Dominique has to come up with an answer here or try and reset. Wooding, it would seem, with the hand fighting there, as well as the overhook, would like to work his way out of here now.
Well, listen to the crowd try and raise it for him. They're stamping their feet now, they're clapping. And when we talk about experience, as we said, it's manifest in many forms. He's showing his experience here by giving Dominique so few opportunities.
Andy, again, and Wooding in the middle of space. The clock is running. The crowd with a roar and cheer for the hometown fighter, Andy Taz Young. Wooding looks concentrated here, though, now.
He has to pull something out of the bag, I feel, here in the third, because there's the jumping knee that we've seen so effective for him before. But we've mentioned Wooding's movement. Look at Young's movement as well, just out of range and ready to come straight back. And I feel he's just saying to the judges, you've got to watch me. Look, I'm the man pushing forward. That's the danger, though, when he does push forward.
Wooding with a jumping knee, swing and a miss with the leg kick. Again, the head kick up from Andy Young. Nice head movement again from Wooding. Look at the slips from these guys. I mean, this is just outstanding, Malcolm.
His lateral movement, his upper body movement, look at that in close quarters. But he needs to be throwing back as well, because Young is really pushing the pace now. And Wooding is making him miss, but he needs to respond, because the judges are seeing this. That right hand actually landed. And the crowd are really responding to this.
Excellent evasive skills from Wooding, but he got tagged at least 3 or 4 times there. And now Andy Taz Young gets him down and jumps on his back. Big squeeze here from Andy Young. Has he got it? Is it submission territory?
The crowd are really bubbling now. They think something special could be on. This will be the icing on the cake for them. He's down! He's got it! Andy Young has got the fairy tale finish. Wooding was not outclassed there, but Andy Young has got the big win.
3 rounds deep, thrown into adversity, and he pulls a rabbit out of the hat at the first chance. The back take and then the choke seconds later. Incredible. What a spectacular performance here from Andy Taz Young. And the fans lapping up the moment to see their hometown hero snatch the belt with a late finish here in the 3rd round at BAMMA 28. The co-main event and the star, Andy Taz Young. And I cannot wait to look at how this finish transpired. What a sense of opportunity from Andy Taz Young. He was on the back like lightning, preemptively went for the choke, and here's how he did it. Blitz again from Andy Young. Tons of pressure, tons of exchanges. Wooding showing plenty in reply, but it was the constant movement forward and the faith that when his time came, look at that, the back take rolling through, the second hook comes in, and immediately in translation, so too come the hands to get the squeeze going. Full figure four there, and Wooding is forced to tap. Over to Buddy Johnson to crown the new champion at 125.
Our referee called a stoppage in this bout at 3 minutes 6 seconds of the third round. To your winner by submission and BAMMA's new interim flyweight champion, Andy Taz Young.
Andy, before this bout, you said there was no way in front of this crowd that you were going to lose. And boy, did you prove that point tonight.
Yeah, I was not going to lose in front of you guys. I gave everything there to get that finish. This is only the beginning for me. I'm going all the way to the top.
Now, despite all the talk beforehand, there was a huge amount of mutual respect, but your focus tonight, the way you pushed the fight, was the difference.
Yeah, I entered the fight as a champion, and I perform as a champion, win as a champion. Dominique's the best opponent I fought yet, I'll say that. Brilliant fun. I mean, there's a lot of trash talk before the fight, in the fight. It was great fun, I gotta say, but he's a brilliant competitor. Hats off to him.
Now, third round, very close. When you saw the opportunity, talk us through the finish.
Yeah, I knew I had to push the pace on him. It was the third round, I had to give everything. I had to get that finish, that win. And when I caught him, I think a few shots, went for the takedown, got it, secured that really good choke to get the finish.
I must say, one last question before we wind up. You want the man, don't you, again?
If he'll fight me, I think he's running. I'm the real champion here. He wants to be my first title defense. Bring it on.
Well, let's one more time for Taz Andy Young, our interim champion.